Welcome to MMA Dogs. My name is Hector, and as always, I want to thank you for tuning in. It is 5 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I am ready to get this party kick-started, baby. It is time for UFC 178, and oh boy, I can't wait. Now, before we get this party jump started, we got to get the homework turned in, and it is time to take the test. So, we have a super high quality card, very high quality fights, and I'm just impressed from top to bottom. I have forgotten all about John Jones and Daniel Cormier and that whole fiasco. I forgot all about it. I mean, just diving into these fights, there are some very interesting fights, and I can't wait to talk about it. So, before we get into this, I want to say that you never want to bet more than you can afford to lose. Of course, we always go into this with the best mentality, the positive vibes, the good energy, but you always have to prepare for the worst. Second, you always want to check your local laws, make sure that everything's good to go there. And then third, much respect to all the men and women who step into the octagon. Some of the things that I'm going to say are going to perhaps not sit well with somebody, or perhaps not be flattering or even complimentary, but that's not the goal here. The goal is to pick winners, to pick winning bets, to make a profit. So that covers that. And let's dive right into this one. I told you guys I was going to unleash the hounds. If you guys remember, last week I told you guys I'm going to unleash the hounds at UFC 178, and they are going to be unleashed. Possibility of over 20 units of profit. So, oh man, I am excited. Only like around 11 to 12 units of that we're putting up here. So I'm excited for these. I've worked super hard on this, and let's just dive right into it. Manny Gamburyan making his drop to bantamweight. So making his first drop to bantamweight. Let me adjust this here. All right, there we go. And taking on a Cody Gibson, to me, is very talented. When I watch him fight, especially his most recent fights, I see some excellent footwork. I see that TJ Dillashaw type of Dominick Cruz type of footwork. And his wrestling is superb. I mean, excellent wrestling. Very good striking. So, what we have to worry about here, really, is just one thing, and that is a possessed Manny Gamburyan. Manny Gamburyan that goes in there just possessed. Now, Manny Gamburyan making the drop to 135 would hopefully put him up against guys that are more his size, but he's facing a guy in Cody Gibson who is tall, long, young, fast, strong, and I see Gibson taking this all day. I see Gibson all day winning this fight. Manny, perhaps could keep it, maybe like win at one of the rounds and Gibson win two, but I like Gibson a lot here. And I got a big kick out of Gibson's shirt at the weigh-in. Wrestling trumps judo. And I expected to do so tonight. And then we have Kevin Lee versus John Tuck. I'm very familiar with both these fighters. And Kevin Lee made a move to Vegas. He recognized, hey, I need to be training and fighting against some better guys. And with John Tuck, he made a move too to the MMA lab. And as I watch their fights, they are both very talented fighters. But Kevin Lee, to me, has more potential, has made more improvements, and he has all the tools to take his career as far as he wants. With John Tuck, we've got a guy who also very talented. It's going to be a smaller fighter, slower fighter, and his gas tank really concerns me. So I am much more impressed with Kevin Lee. I think Kevin Lee can win this on the feet. I bet you he can win this on the ground. And he's at a very good gym there, Extreme Couture, working on his overall game. So I like Kevin Lee. I like him to win a decision here, and I'd like a bet on Kevin Lee as well. So we'll go into that in a little bit. John Howard versus Brian Eversole. I gotta say, John Howard really impressed me in his fight with Ryan LaFleur. He really impressed me, and the way with Ryan LaFleur, we got a very, very tough wrestler, very grindy type of wrestler, and Howard hung in there. I mean, he is just he's not ever going to fight for the title or ever be this beast at welterweight, but he's facing a guy who pretty much has 1 foot out the door, 1 foot out of the octagon, and Brian Eversole is crafty, veteran, tricky, kind of awkward type of guy. But I don't see Eversole bringing anything to the table here. As long as John Howard comes in focused, fighting his fight, Howard could take him definitely on the feet, no doubt about it, on the feet. And if it hits the ground, we continue to see John Howard make improvements, and his takedown defense is getting much better. So I like John Howard here in this fight to pick up a decision win. Stephen the Wonder Boy Thompson against Patrick the Predator Cote. And Thompson really impressed me in his last fight. His game just continues to improve. We all know about his stand-up and his takedown defense. He's just working on this whole game. Even during the weigh-ins, Chris Weidman was talking about it. And with Patrick Cote, very similar to Gamburyan, very, very similar to Eversole. Just a fighter who's been around a long time, solid, well-rounded. You've got to be if you're in the UFC, but it's not his time. It's the Wonder Boy's time, and I see Thompson getting a decision, perhaps even a finish. So I'm going with Stephen Thompson. Jorge Masvidal versus James Krause. Jorge Masvidal, a huge favorite. Was supposed to fight Bobby Green, was supposed to fight, a top 10 guy, and now he's stuck fighting James Krause, who is crafty. He's an intelligent fighter, and I see the makings of a potential upset here. I have zero desire to lay minus 400 or whatever, minus 390, minus 410 on Jorge Masvidal. And with James Krause, in that first round, there is the opportunity for him to get the knockout. And like I said, he's an intelligent guy. He's got good coaches. And I am going to predict the upset here. James Krause by first round knockout. And for the bet, we'll go over the bet in a little while. But at that line, over plus 300 on James Krause. Wow. Dominick Cruz versus Takeya Mizugaki. Dominick Cruz has been out forever, 3 years, out for such a long time. Before that, before all those injuries, the knee, the groin, the this, or that, he was, like I said a little bit earlier, the footwork is just unbelievable. And just overall game. And Takeya Mizugaki has been a guy who's really impressed me, just continues to improve, just a guy you can't put away, just stays in the fight against Perez, against just against all these top guys. And he's got riding high on the confidence. And once again, I'm not real big into let's bet a guy because of the odds, but some of these are getting out of hand, and they really don't reflect what's going to happen in the octagon, what could possibly happen, what will happen. So I am going to go for the upset here, Mizugaki by decision, and we will see. We will see tonight, but I'm going with Mizugaki here. For the next one, we have Kat Zingano versus Amanda Nunes. Wow, this fight is one of the ones that really has caught my attention. I spent a lot of time breaking these girls down, and I am very impressed with what I've seen out of Amanda Nunes, especially her progression over her career. And with Kat, bless her heart, she's had injuries. She's had her husband, pass away now. It's just very sad stuff. And the layoff, just one thing after the other, with Amanda, going in there so motivated, going in there so focused. A lot of these fights, people will say, and I've heard a lot in the MMA community, on paper, but fights are not fought on paper. And a lot of these fights, I take a look at the fights themselves, at the tape, at the Fight Pass, at all my collection of fights and all this stuff. And sometimes I think to myself, wow, really, these people are, betting that side, or they're betting, what the heck are they seeing? So to me, this is one of those fights where watching Kat Zingano fight, yes, she's very talented, yes, she's very good, but Amanda Nunes has all the tools to beat her, and it's going to happen. And I am picking Amanda Nunes and betting Amanda Nunes by decision for the upset, perhaps even a finish. And we will see if I am right on that one. I think so. Tim Kennedy versus Yoel Romero. Yoel Romero, one of my favorite fighters. Hands down, one of my favorite fighters. Tim Kennedy, not as fun to watch as Yoel Romero, but a fighter who has not let me down. And like I told you guys in the beginning, it's not about, I'm a fan of this guy, I'm a fan of that guy. It's about who you think is going to win the fight. And I think Tim Kennedy is going to win this fight. I have been very impressed with him. As you guys know, or may not know, I bet him against Michael Bisping. And it was one of the ones that I just described where I'm watching the footage and I'm just scratching my head like, what? It is very... Actually, I don't scratch my head anymore. I used to scratch my head. What am I not seeing? Now I know that I see things that other people don't see. And I see Tim Kennedy getting this fight, winning a decision here, and I'll definitely be betting it. Oh my goodness. So as I'm watching the weigh-in, I hear all this chatter and all this, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, I've never seen the Army Rangers or the Army be so loud, because Tim Kennedy was going on the scale, and I'm thinking, what the hell? And I'm thinking, come on, announcers, all the announcers, say something. What's all this ruckus going on? And then finally, Ariel Helwani piped up and said, it's the Irish crowd, chanting for Conor McGregor. And wow, to me, that is very impressive. Very impressive. I love the Irish fans. I love how they get behind their fighter. A lot like the Mexican fans and the Mexican fighters. Very loyal fans. And Conor, he's just a guy who's very confident, very supremely confident, very talented guy. And some of the things that he says, I know that he knows that they're not true. Some of the things that he puts out there, Um, they are not who he is just yet. Perhaps he will become these things, but not yet. He wants to. He wants to become these things, but not yet. And in Dustin Poirier, we have a guy who is just. We have never had a more motivated Dustin Poirier. And this fight could go either way. I really see this being a 50-50 fight. Maybe slightly towards McGregor. But this is a ridiculous line. Unbelievable line. And I would be a fool to not take this bet. It's just ridiculous the way that the line has moved. And, as I said earlier, there's a lot of hype and a lot of people believing everything that McGregor is saying. It could come true. We're not going to risk the farm or bet the farm or anything like that on Poirier, but there's a lot of value. Once again, value, and I see ways for Poirier to win this fight. So I am going to bet Poirier, and like I said, I know we have a lot of viewers in Ireland and Europe, and it's nothing against them. Of course, it's just an opportunity here to hopefully make some money and win. And I've done enough research, enough footage on these guys to see that there are ways for both these guys to win, and the line is ridiculous, so we have to go with that. So Dustin Poirier by decision. And another excellent fight here. Eddie Alvarez versus Donald Cerrone. Now, watching these guys fight, especially their most recent fights, I can't help but notice, man, that Alvarez just gets rocked. And Cerrone, when he rocks you, he knocks you out. So I'm going with Cerrone by knockout in round 2. And Demetrious Johnson versus Chris Cariaso. Johnson, just a professional, just a hard worker. And we'll be betting Johnson inside the distance. I like that bet. And Johnson, I think he'll get a submission late in the fight, like round 5, round 4. So I'm going to say round 5. And that wraps it up for my picks. Now let's get to my bets here. So for my bets, I have UFC 178. 5 stars, none, unfortunately. No 5-star picks. Those are all 100% over the last 60, however many UFC events. And you can check it out on the website, MMAdogs.com. 4 stars. We have one, Thompson. I really like Thompson here. It's his time. The line is steep, but I'll show you what we're going to do with it here in a little bit. So Thompson, medium play. Medium, almost small. Medium to small just because the line is ridiculous, but and there's so many other opportunities. So Thompson, 4 stars. 3 stars, I have 6 3-star plays. Gibson, Lee, Howard, Kennedy, Nunes, and Poirier. 6 of them, all small. So let's get down to the bets. Now this one will be 1 unit equals 1% of the bankroll. Now what I recommend is keeping the ratio the same. So whether your unit is $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, $100, $10, $20, whatever your unit is, just keep the ratio the same. So in the text file, I'll lay it all out. So you can use simple division and figure out what exactly your units, your bet's gonna be. I just make it a simple $100 so you guys can it's the easiest division that there is, or multiplication if you got to go up, and keeps it nice and simple. So Thompson at minus 380 and Gibson at minus 190 gives us minus 108. A unit to win 0.93. Thompson, same price, plus Lee at minus 250 gives us minus 130. A unit to win 0.77. Thompson plus Howard at minus 235 gives us minus 125. A unit to win 0.8. So the example bet is all laid out there on the text file. So you can see taking Thompson, putting him with some of the favorites that I like for a total of 3 units there on those. So nice and conservative, nothing too crazy. Then Lee at minus 250, same price, and Gibson gives us plus 114, half a unit to win 0.57. Howard and Gibson gives us plus 118, half a unit to win 0.59. Lee and Howard gives us even money, plus 100, minus 100, half a unit to win half a unit. Then we move on down. Nunes at plus 255, 2.5 units to win 6.38 units. Poirier at plus 255, 1.5 units to win 3.83. And Kennedy at plus 115, 1.5 units to win 1.73. We'll move into some of the plus 3.5 rounds. So Mizugaki at plus 3.5, plus 160, half a unit to win 0.80. Nunes plus 3.5 rounds, minus 120, a quarter unit, so 0.25 units to win 0.21. Poirier plus 3.5 rounds, plus 135, a quarter unit to win 0.34. Cruz plus 3.5, plus 115, 0.25 units, a quarter unit to win 0.29 units. Take care of those. Now, with the round robins, I'm going to actually have 3 different sets of round robins. So, round robins of 2s. So, there's 4 selections, 4 picks, 4 fights. And that's going to be 0.03 units each. So, the total bet is 0.18. Total bet, 0.18. So Nunes at plus 255, Mizugaki at plus 3.5 rounds, plus 160. Johnson wins inside the distance at minus 125, and Cruz at plus 335. So the total bet is 0.18 units to win 1.47. The next one, the same thing. Actually turned out to be 0.18 units to win 1.47, the same as the previous one. And this one is Kennedy at plus 115, Poirier at plus 135, Cerrone at plus 175, and Mizugaki at plus 420. And the Poirier at plus 135, that's because he's plus 3.5 rounds. So that was pretty crazy. The math on it is exactly the same as the other one, 0.18 units to win 1.47. In the last round robin of 2s, a total of 6 parlays, total bet being 0.18 units to win 0.96 units. Nunes at plus 3.5 rounds at minus 120. Cruz plus 3.5 rounds at plus 115. Poirier at plus 255, just winning straight up. And then Mizugaki at plus 3.5 rounds, plus 160. So the total is 11.7 units to win 21.64. Wee! And I am as excited as it gets for this one. It's 5:30 now in the morning, and if it wasn't so early, I might just be hooting and hollering and hey, and I'll be doing that tonight, that's for sure. So I hope you guys join the party with me here. You get it nice and started, 5:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we are ready to rock and roll. So I hope you guys check out the website, MMADAWGS. Go ahead and give us a try. You know, my dog is working hard, making it all happen behind the scenes, taking care of the websites and all this stuff and this and that. And then I'm working hard, breaking down, doing the homework on these fights, making the bets, and taking care of business. So with that all being said, thank you guys for tuning in. A big thank you to all of our clients. We appreciate your business. We appreciate your loyalty. And we are here to make money, baby. We're here to make money. So hope you guys enjoy the fights. I hope our dogs not only bark, but bite. And so I was looking at the card, and I think what's going to happen tonight is the favorites are going to be coming through. Favorites are going to be coming through nice and early. Favorites. And then as soon as we get to Cruz, we're going to catch Masvidal sleeping. He's going to knock him out in the first round. And we're going to have nothing but dogs the rest of the way. So Can't wait for it. I'm excited, and I hope you guys are too. Hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you guys real soon with another breakdown.